Be me, 23, freshly graduated with a business degree. Got a job at a mid-sized marketing firm. First week on the job. Manager is a woman named Karen, not the meme kind, actual competent woman. She runs the whole department with an iron fist. I respect that. Sit next to this guy Marcus. Marcus has been here 4 years. Always complaining about quotas. Always saying the wrong women got promoted over him. First team meeting. Karen lays out the quarter goals. Everyone nods. Marcus leans over and whispers to me. She only got that title because the CEO felt guilty. I do not say anything. Just look at my notepad. Week 2. New project assigned. Mixed team, me, Marcus, 2 women named Priya and Diane. Priya is sharp, has more ideas in 10 minutes than Marcus has in a day. Marcus keeps interrupting her. Priya says the campaign should target emotional connection over price. Marcus says that is too soft. Marcus says customers want hard data. Priya says she has run 3 similar campaigns. Marcus talks over her to the manager. Karen listens to both. Goes with Priya's angle. Marcus types furiously on his keyboard afterward. I grab coffee with Priya after. She says it happens every meeting. I believe her. Week 3. Company has a diversity training session. Mandatory for all staff. Marcus groans audibly when the email goes out. Here we go again with the feelings seminar. I say nothing. Session is actually pretty interesting. Facilitator talks about unconscious bias. Talks about how people dismiss ideas based on who said them. Marcus spends the whole session with his arms folded. Afterward in the break room, Marcus says it is all propaganda. Says real talent speaks for itself. Says the company is just scared of lawsuits. I ask him who he thinks has real talent here. He lists 5 names, all of them are men. I point that out. He says that is just a coincidence. I go home and think about that for a while. Week 4, big client presentation. Diane has been prepping for 2 weeks. Her slides are genuinely great. Client meeting goes well. Client asks who made the deck. Our director says it was a team effort. Marcus takes a long sip of his coffee like he did something. Diane does not say anything in the room. She tells me later she is used to it. She says being used to it is its own kind of problem. I think about that too. Month 2, Marcus and I go for drinks after work. He starts talking about his ex, says she got too ambitious. Says she forgot what actually matters. I ask what he thinks actually matters. He gives me this look like it is obvious. Family, stability, real priorities. I say ambitious people can have those things too. He shakes his head like I am naive. He talks about his dad, how his dad works 60 hours a week. Provided for everyone, never complained. Says men used to know their role. I ask what role he thinks women had in that picture. He says it balanced out. I ask if the women were asked if it balanced out. He orders another beer. Month 3, new hire joins the team. Guy named Derek, fresh out of university like me. Very confident, maybe too confident. First day he corrects Priya in a meeting. Priya has 6 years of experience. Derek has 0. Marcus loves Derek immediately, says Derek has the right energy. Says Derek reminds him of himself at that age. I can see why that is not a compliment to Priya. Derek keeps doing well in meetings though. Loud and assertive gets noticed. I start to wonder if I should be louder too. Then I watch what happens when Priya is loud. People call her aggressive. Derek gets called passionate. Same behavior, different words. I write that down in my notebook. Month 4, performance reviews coming up. Everyone is tense. Marcus is convinced he is getting a promotion. Says he has put in the hours. Says he has shown leadership. I look at what Marcus actually produced this quarter. It is fine. Priya's numbers are better. Diane's client retention is the highest on the team. Marcus does not seem to know this. Review day comes. Marcus does not get promoted. Priya does. Marcus sits very still for a long time. He comes to my desk later. Says the system is rigged. Says they promoted her to hit a number. I ask him if he looked at her results. He says results are not the whole picture. I ask what the rest of the picture is. He does not answer directly. Talks about presence and leadership and culture fit. I think about who gets to define culture fit. Month 5, work happy hour. Everyone loosens up a bit. Marcus gets a few drinks in. Starts telling a story about his college girlfriend. How she was sweet before she found feminism. How she became impossible after. The whole table kind of goes quiet. Diane asks what impossible means. Marcus says she stopped being fun. Started making everything political. Started correcting him all the time. Diane asks what she was correcting him about. Marcus waves his hand like the details do not matter. I notice Diane writing something on her phone. Later, I ask what she wrote. She says she just needed to process it somewhere. Month 6. Company starts a mentorship program. Senior staff paired with junior staff. Karen offers to mentor me. I say yes immediately. Marcus raises his eyebrows like I made a mistake. First mentorship session with Karen. She asks about my goals. Asks where I want to be in 5 years. No one has asked me that in a professional context before. I tell her honestly. She talks about her own path. Started as an assistant. Was told twice she was not management material. Kept going anyway. Now she runs the department. She does not say this to inspire me. She says it matter-of-factly. That makes it hit harder. She asks if I notice anything about the team dynamic. I pause. I tell her about Marcus and Priya. She nods slowly. Says she has been managing it for 2 years. Says some people only hear feedback from certain voices. I ask what that means. She says it means she sometimes has to root ideas through men to get them heard. She says that with complete calm, like it is just weather. I go home and sit with that for a long time. Month 7. Derek gets into trouble. Sends an email that is way too casual to a senior client. Client complains. Derek apologizes. Things get smoothed over. Marcus says boys will be boys and laughs. Karen does not laugh. She pulls Derek aside for a private conversation. Derek comes out of that conversation looking different. More careful, less loud in the right ways, still present. I think Karen is a better manager than I initially understood. Marcus says she was too hard on Derek. I say she was doing her job. Marcus looks at me like I changed somehow. Maybe I did. Month 8. Office argument breaks out in the open. Rare thing. Derek says something dismissive about Priya's market research. Says it feels more like a blog post than a strategy. Priya does not raise her voice. She pulls up 3 case studies on her laptop. Shows them on the big screen. Systematically addresses every point Derek made. The room is silent. Derek says, "Okay, fair enough." Marcus later tells me Priya overreacted. I point out she did not raise her voice once. Marcus says it is not always about tone. I start wondering what it would take to satisfy Marcus. Month 9. Team lunch. Conversation drifts to relationships. Marcus talks about how his new girlfriend is not like the others. Says she is low drama. Says she lets him lead. Diane asks what letting him lead looks like. Marcus says she does not argue about everything. Diane asks if she disagrees sometimes. Marcus says sure, but she does not push it. Diane says that sounds lonely for her. Marcus says it sounds peaceful for him. They look at each other across the table. Nobody changes anyone's mind. They both eat their food. Month 10. Priya gets headhunted by a competitor. She announces she is leaving. The office is genuinely sad. Even Derek looks bummed out. Marcus says he does not blame her. Says this company does not reward real talent. I have to stop myself from saying something sharp. I let it go. Priya's last day, she gives a short speech. Says she is grateful for what she learned here. Thanks Karen directly and specifically. Does not mention anyone else by name. I notice Marcus noticing that. Month 11, new team member arrives, woman named Sonia. Very quiet, very precise. Marcus decides within a week that she is not leadership material. I ask how he can tell after a week. He says you just know with some people. I ask if he knew with Derek after a week. He says Derek had energy. I ask if energy and leadership are the same thing. He says in his experience, yeah. I start keeping a mental list of the words Marcus uses. Energy, presence, culture, balance, none of them mean anything specific. All of them seem to point the same direction. Month 12. Full year in, I get a decent review. Karen says I have grown in ways she did not expect. Says I listen more than most people at my level. I do not know how to take that as a compliment. But it feels like one. Marcus gets a lateral move, not a promotion. He is angry about it for a week. Tells me the company has lost its way. Says he is looking for something better, somewhere that still values merit. I ask what he thinks merit looks like. He talks for 5 minutes. I realize every example he gives is himself, or someone who reminded him of himself. I nod, do not argue. Think about what Karen said about rooting ideas through the right voice. Year 2, month 1, Marcus puts in his notice. Gets a job at another firm, says the culture there is better, says they appreciate results. Shakes everyone's hand on his last day, even Diane. She shakes it politely. Marcus gone, office is quieter. Meetings are different. Sonia starts talking more. She has been watching everything for months. Her ideas are very good. I ask her why she was so quiet before. She says she was reading the room. She says in some rooms you have to wait for certain voices to leave. I say that is a depressing way to work. She shrugs and says it is a practical one. I think about how much we lost while we were waiting. Month 3 of year 2, Derek and I get coffee. We have become something close to friends. He brings up his first few months unprompted. Says he cringed at how he talked over Priya. Says he did not even realize he was doing it. I ask when he noticed. He says Karen pointed it out directly. Says she showed him a transcript from a meeting. Showed him how many times he cut someone off in an hour. He says seeing it written down was different from being told. I ask if it made him angry. He says for about a day. Then he just felt embarrassed. Then he tried to change it. I think that is a pretty honest arc. Month 5 of year 2. Company hires a consultant to study internal communication patterns. Results come back after 8 weeks. Women on the team were interrupted at twice the rate of men. Women's ideas were attributed to others in meeting notes at a higher rate. Nobody made a single rule about this. It just happened consistently across time. Marcus would have called it a biased study. I wonder what a non-biased version of those numbers looks like. I cannot picture one. Month 6. Karen shows me the full report in our mentorship session, asks what I think. I say I believe the numbers. She asks why. I say because I watched it happen every week for a year. She says that is the right answer. Says a lot of people see it and still explain it away. She asks what I'm going to do with what I know. I do not have a clean answer. She says that is fine. Says the question is more important than the answer at this stage. Month 8. I run my first meeting as unofficial project lead. Small project, low stakes, Sonia is on the team. First thing I do is make a rule. No one speaks twice until everyone has spoken once. It feels awkward for about 4 minutes. Then the ideas start coming in a different order. Sonia has the best idea in the room. We use it. Project goes well. Month 10. I think about Marcus sometimes. Wonder if he found his merit-based utopia. Wonder if the numbers look different there. Probably not. Probably the same room, different furniture. I am not angry at Marcus. I think he genuinely could not see it. I think that is almost worse. Month 12, year 2. Performance review. Karen tells me I'm being considered for a team lead role, real one, with the title. I ask why. She lists specific things I did. Specific meetings, specific decisions, specific moments, no vague words. No presence or energy. I think about how different that felt. Ask her something I have been holding for a while. Ask if it was harder for her to get here because she is a woman. She thinks about it for a second. Says harder is not exactly right. Says longer. Says more documented. Says more second-guessed by people with less information. She says she had to be more right more often just to be considered equally. I do not say I'm sorry. It would feel like the wrong response. I just say that seems exhausting. She says it became fuel at some point. But she does not recommend it as a strategy. Last day of the year, sitting at my desk. Think about everything from the past 2 years. Think about Marcus and his invisible scorecard. Think about Priya leaving without looking back. Think about Derek in that meeting room seeing himself in writing. Think about Sonia waiting for the room to change before she spoke. Think about Karen saying longer, more documented, more second-guessed. I did not fix anything. I did not change the company. I just watched more carefully than I used to. And asked 1 or 2 questions instead of 0. Not sure if that is enough. But it is more than I came in with. Be me. 25 now. Team lead. First meeting tomorrow. Everyone speaks once before anyone speaks twice. We will see what happens.